Assalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. All praise to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for blessing and grace from me so I can finish this thesis. Salawat and salam always been given to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam who has guided us from the dark way to the bright way. Before that, I would like to say thank you to Mr. Dr. Ahmad Faisal SPD Maka and Mrs. Dwi Kismayanti Respati SPD Maka who guide me to preparing my thesis. Also, my family who always support and praying for me. Let me introduce myself. My name is Achmad Faisal with ID number 17016181005 from Accounting Education 2018, Faculty of Economics at University of Jakarta. I would like to present my thesis with the title is The Effect of Financial Literacy, Self-Control, and Peers on Saving Behavior Student of State Vocational High School in the West Jakarta region. In this study, we have 5 chapters. Chapter 1 is Introduction, Chapter 2 is Literature Review, Chapter 3 is Research Methodology, Chapter 4 is Result and Discussion, and Chapter 5 is Closing. Let's start to the chapter 1 is Introduction. We discuss about background, research question, research purpose, and research novelty. 2 years ago, on March 2020, the President of Republic Indonesia announced that the COVID-19 has entered to Indonesia. Indonesia and all around the world to be affected the COVID-19 pandemic, which had an impact the economy's turndown. To prevent of the spread of the virus, regulation were made, namely PSBB. PSBB meaning restriction on activities in an area suspected of being infected with COVID-19 to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus. But impact of this regulation is society or people have limited space, so national economy and leads to an economic recession from Yuniarta and Purnamawati. Data from BPS or Badan Pusat Statistik about economic growth 2020, the quarter 2 of 2020 contracted by minus 5.32% and the quarter 3 of 2020 contracted by minus 3.2%. Next to the another aspect about unemployment rate. From World Bank data show the chart unemployment rate is always increasing from 2019 to 2021. Data from the Kementerian Ketenagakerjaan show that more than 70,000 and more than 4,000 companies laying off employees. But the increasing unemployment rate is accompanied by increase in the level household consumption, which increased to 52.91% of GDP in the fourth quarter of 2020. The imbalance between household spending and consumption and income makes everyone have to prepare the worst possible outcomes by saving. To achieve economic stability by increasing saving growth to encourage the nation's economic growth, the Harold Domar said that savings are the one of the factor of economic growth. Based on data from the World Bank 2020, state that GDP or gross domestic saving show that Indonesia was recorded just only 30%. It's relatively low when you can compare with another countries is China, Singapore, and South Korea. From 2019, Indonesia still lagging behind other countries about China, Singapore, South Korea, and Thailand. Next, we look at the bank saving in the DKI Jakarta savings from East Jakarta and West Jakarta areas in 2018 and 2019, there was increase. But 2019 to 2020, there was decrease the number of saving whose value was lower than amount of saving in previous year. The next is saving problems also found in the school student. from Intayani and Maitriana made observation at Vocational High School Satu Negara. From the observation of 15 students, only 5 students saving to 2 to 3 times a week, but 10 students do not have to save because they do not to know the purpose of which their money is saved. From Ardiana 2016, examined the saving behavior from state and private vocational high school in Kediri. 3 SMK school in the Kediri, less than 40% of students are active in saving activities. Zulaika and Listiadi said 2 factors affecting saving behavior. One is internal factors such as financial knowledge, the psyche factor, and attitude factor. 2 is external factors such as the physical environment and peers. Badan Pusat Statistik from survey population census in 2020 result that Indonesia society is currently dominated by Z generation with percentage of 27.94%, and the second is millennial generation of 25.87%. Both generations are generations with a productive age who are expected to contribute and work to encourage economic growth. Let's see in this table, show that percentage of 15 to 17 years old is still relatively low when compared to other age range about financial literacy rate by age range. And from Indonesia Millennial Report, said that use fund in Z generation just savings only 6.3%. Next is about teenagers are potential target because they are easily tempted by peers, advertising, and prioritizing prestige in buying to let goods so that they tend to be wasteful. So adolescents often buy goods because temporarily desired, because the level of economic rationality has not been possessed. It means that there is still a lack of level of self-control in adolescents. This is the research gap of this research. From Sukarwati and Susanti conclude that financial literacy has no influence on saving behavior. From Mardiana and Rohmawati state that self-control as moderating does not have a significant influence on saving behavior. Karunaniti suggests that self-control does have a significant influence on saving behavior, and Serena and Utami state that peer variable did not have a significant influence between peers and saving behavior. Based on the background of this research and research gap, so researchers are interested in conducting research on the effect of financial literacy, self-control, and peers on saving behavior students of state vocational high school in the West Jakarta region. Next is research question. Is there an influence on financial literacy on saving behavior? 2, is there an influence of self-control on saving behavior? 3, is there an influence on peers on saving behavior? 4, is there an influence of financial literacy, self-control, and peers on saving behavior? Next is research purpose. 1, to find out the influence on financial literacy on saving behavior. 2, to find out the influence on self-control or saving behavior. 3, to find out the influence of peers on saving behavior. And 4, to find out the influence of financial literacy, self-control, and peers on saving behavior. Some previous studies used the object of research to combine between state and private vocational school students, undergraduate and graduate students, and workers. But this is the difference in the study. 1, student of state vocational high school with full accreditation A, competence of akuntansi, keuangan, and lembaga. There are different indicators in several variables that distinguish them from previous studies. in the preparation of research instrument. And 3, this research was conducted at State Vocational High School West Jakarta, Region 2, Competence of Akuntansi dan Keuangan Lembaga, State Vocational High School 45 Jakarta, State Vocational High School 13 Jakarta, and State Vocational High School 17 Jakarta. Next, we discuss about literature review, discuss about theoretical background and theoretical framework and hypothesis. First is definition of saving behavior. Saving behavior is the activity of a person setting aside savings, restraining consumptive behavior, and managing saving that will be need to future needs. That indicator from Serena Utami, Widya Stuti, and Novita Sari and Ayamutias, 1 future need, 2 saving decision, and 3 saving measure. Next to financial literacy or X1, financial literacy is knowledge and action that everyone needs to have to be able to plan and solve financial problem both now and in the future. From indicator from Romadoni, Herawati, dan Komaro and Septiana, 1 knowledge of financial concept, saving, and investment. Next is self-control. Self-control is person's ability to control and regulate emotion so that they are able to make decisions that will be made carefully. The indicator from Avril, Talib, and Sari, and Handayani, 1 is behavior control, 2 conflict control, and decisional control. And the last variable is peers. Peers are people who have similarity in age, status, level of maturity, interest, and goals to get something. From the similarities will arise closeness and close relationship between individuals. The indicator for Muniati Ningsi, Sari, Isnawati, Chayati, and Mukhtar, and Fitriani, 1 conducting social interaction, gaining knowledge or experience, providing encouragement and support. This is the relevant research of this study. 1 from Indra Wijaya, Agus Zainul Arifin, dan Madu Setini said financial literacy has a relationship both directly and indirectly with saving behavior. From Meta Ardiana, self-control has influence of the saving behavior of vocational high school student in Kediri City. From Dangwal and Maharjan, peers have positive relationship with saving behavior. And from Zuleika dan Listiadi, financial literacy, self-control, and peers have a significant effect of student saving behavior. This is the hypothesis of this research. Hypothesis 1, there is an influence between financial literacy on saving behavior. Hypothesis 2, there is an influence between self-control on saving behavior. Hypothesis 3, there is an influence between peers on saving behavior. And hypothesis 4, there is an influence between financial literacy, self-control, and peers on saving behavior. Next is research methodology. We discuss about time and place of research, research approach, population and sample, and data analysis techniques. About research method, the timeline of this research to August to September 2022, placed at State Vocational High School on West Jakarta Region 2, State Vocational High School 45, State Vocational High School 13, and State Vocational High School 17, Jakarta. Object of research, 11 grade student competence of akuntansi dan keuangan lembaga with approach descriptive quantitative with survey method and data collection, primary data through online questionnaires. This is the constellation between variables. Financial literacy have influence on saving behavior, self-control influence to saving behavior, peers influence on saving behavior, and financial literacy, self-control, and peers together influence on saving behavior. This is the population and sample. 1 is population from students of State Vocational High School in DKI Jakarta. 2, affordable population and state vocational high school on West Jakarta Region 2, 11 grade student, competence of akuntansi dan keuangan lembaga. 3, sampling techniques using professional random sampling technique with Isaac and Michael table with 5% error rate. So we know that sample total is 152. Next is data analysis techniques. Descriptive statistical analysis by size of the data centering, size of data collection, and size of data spread. The size is data centering, it mean, median, and mode. And the location, quartile, decile, and percentile, and the size of data spread, standard deviation, and variance. Next is linear regression analysis. 3 test analysis requirement with normality test and linearity test, and hypothesis test with t-test, f-test, and coefficient of determination test. This test processed by using statistical product and service solution or SPSS. Next is capture for result and discussion. We discuss data description, test, and discussion of research result. This is about respondent demographic from gender. Know that female respondent as many as 121 and male gender were 31 students. From age, it was dominated by 16 years old respondent as many as 108 students, 17 years old respondent as many 42% student, and as many as 2 from 15 years old student. From the high school, the most respondent came from State Vocational High School 13 Jakarta as many as 64 students. And for State Vocational High School 45 and 17 is as many as 44 students. Next is descriptive analysis of saving behavior. The range is 22, minimum score is 33, and maximum score is 45. This is the interval class of the saving behavior. The number class of 5 is the highest. Absolute frequency is 40 respondent. Next is descriptive analysis from financial literacy. The range is 21, minimum score is 36, and maximum score is 47. This is interval class. The class number 4 is the highest class with absolute frequency is 45. And this is the descriptive analysis from safe control. About range is 29. Minimum score is 41 and maximum score is 70. The interval class, the highest is class from number 4 is 45. And the last is descriptive analysis from peers. The range is 23. Minimum score is 30 and maximum score is 43. With interval class, the highest class is number 4 with absolute frequency is 46. This is the multiple linear regression analysis. Multiple linear regression analysis is a statistical analysis that displays the relationship and functional influence of both variable x as an independent variable and variable y as a dependent variable. Based on data from processing SPSS, to determine the model, we can see in the table B. So, we know the model of multiple linear regression analysis as follow by y 14 0.979 plus 0.182x1 plus 0.2x7x2 plus 0.132x3. Next is normality test. Normality test is used to see if data is normal. This is the decision. If the assumption more than 0.05, then the data distribute is normal. This is the conclusion. Assumption two-tailed is worth to 0.200 more than 0.05, which can be inferred that the data is normally distributed with one sample Kolmogorov Smirnov test. And this is with normal p-plot of regression standardized residual. The conclusion, the spread of data move collecting and following in the direction of the diagonal line. So it can be concluded that the data is normally distributed. Next is linearity test. Linearity test is need to note the relationship of two or more variables has a linear or non-linear relationship. Decision. If the significancy value at deviation from linearity more than 0.05, then there is a linear relationship. This is the result of this linearity test from deviation from linearity from x1 to y is 0.565 more than 0.05. x2 to y 0.058 more than 0.05 and x3 to y is 0.135 more than 0.05. That conclusion, each of the independent variable has a linear relationship with the dependent variable. Next is t-test is performed to find out how far the independent variable affects the dependent variable. Decision, if the value t count more than t-table, then there is a significant influence between the variable x and the variable y. We know that t-table is 1.97612. This is the result of x1, x2, and x3 from significant 0.019 is less than 0.05, or for the t count is 2.381 is more than t-table. About x2 4.930 more than t-table, and x3 2.024 more than t-table. And the conclusion, the variable of x1, x2, and x3 each have a significant positive effect of variable y. Next is f-test. F-test is performed to test the effect of independent variable together on the dependent variable. Decision, if the value f count more than f table, then there is a significant influence between variable x on y. This is the if table is 2.67. And the result from v-test ANOVA that show 22.410 more than f table. The conclusion, there is a significant influence of the three independent variables, is financial literacy, self-control, and peers on saving behavior. The last is coefficient of determination test. The coefficient of determinant test is carried out to describe the magnitude of the influence of the value of an independent variable on change in the value of dependent variable, namely saving behavior. This is the conclusion that financial literacy, self-control, and peers have a simultaneous influence of 20, 20, 29.8%, and the rest are other factors that have not been studied. And the last is closing. We discuss about conclusion and recommendation. This is the conclusion based on the research that has been carried out as well as data analysis and testing. Here are the conclusion that we be drawn. One, there is a positive and significant influence between financial literacy on saving behavior. Two, there is a positive and significant influence between self-control and saving behavior. Three, there is a positive and significant influence between peers on saving behavior. And four, there is a simultaneous positive and significant influence between financial literacy, self-control, and peers on saving behavior. Next is recommendation for future researchers, students, teachers, and parents. For future researchers, choose another factor. You can choose another factor from internal or external factors such as social environment, demographic, family environment, financial inclusion, etc. The object of the research is not only school student. However, it can be to student university or workers who have only worked about 1 year and take other areas such as some areas of Jakarta or Jabodetabek area. And three is using other instrument. You can make a question about financial literacy or open questionnaires to find out more about respondent in carry out saving behavior. From student, you can improve financial literacy. You can find out about various sources from internet, books, or teacher at school, and make a savings plan and make the discussion with friends about saving tips. And from teacher, provide stimulus in every learning session about the importance of saving and associate a lesson with an example of saving. And the last is parent, providing understanding to children about financial planning because it will be useful as child provision of their future. I think it's enough for explain this thesis. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.